Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nolan.
And welcome to Making It Work. When you talk about single parenting, a lot of times you talk about or you'll see single mothers. But yet, on Making It Work, we wanted to view or interview a single father. In today's society, Arthur, what are some of the things that men are facing, let alone single parenting fathers?
Well, I guess expectations, you know.
What do you mean expectations?
When a man is the single parent of the home, they expect, or people in general would expect that things are going to be taken care of, or there will, not so much taken care of, but there will be a void in how he would care for his child.
Okay, do you think single fathers can change diapers, take care of an infant?
Absolutely.
You know?
Anything a woman can do, a man can do.
You think so?
Absolutely. I mean, but you have nurturing characteristics that may be different than a male's nurturing characteristics.
I see.
You know,
what was it like for you to go through?
See, I was raised by a single father.
Yes, you lost your mother when you were 7 years old. What was it like for you? And I was raised by a single mother because my parents got divorced when I was 12. Yeah. But my father was still having parenting, you know, time with us. But what was it like when you saw me? You were there when I gave birth to your daughter, Erin. What was that like for you?
It was an experience. I mean.
Do you think you could have gone through something like that?
No, that's why God built you. I mean, because you can handle that better. I mean,
you think so?
Absolutely.
Let's go there, man, before we go to our guests. You said that men can do everything that women can do. All right, but I know, I know you didn't. But why do you think that? You know, you say nurturing. We are built to nurture, and that's something God made us to do.
No, I said that the nurturing characteristics are different.
But what was it like for you to see me give birth? You were right there with her coming, you know.
It was an experience.
What kind of experience?
It was an experience to see God's work. I mean, here it is that for 9 months you carried this child, and now you are giving birth. That was an amazing experience. It really brought into mind that how great he is that he would allow a person to give birth and for me to be there.
Well, I guess where I'm going with this is that, you know, we talk about the empowerment or empowering women, but we need to recognize that men and fathers have to be empowered also. Yes, it's a great task to give birth, but it's a greater task to be a good parent. And today we are blessed to have a great parent with us, and he has 3 sons, and there's a twist to this story, but we want to let him tell his story. We want to welcome Jeff and Justin Wilder. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Listen, well, I want to hear your story. I know, Jeff, you have 3 sons, 3 different mothers. Yeah. I want to talk about your relationship with the mothers, with your sons, and you being raised in the church. You were born and raised Seventh-day Adventist.
Yes.
And how old were you when you had your first child?
I was 23 years old when I had my oldest son. My first child.
Your first child. And then you got in another relationship, had a second child.
Well, there's a twist to that. I didn't know about the second child.
You didn't know about the second child?
I didn't know about him.
You didn't know about him. How many years you didn't know about him?
3 years, 3.5 years, actually.
So you never saw your father, Justin, for 3.5 years?
No, ma'am.
Is that right? Okay, we'll come back to that. And then your youngest son, Chase.
He's 11. Actually, when I was in a relationship with his mother, we were engaged. And actually, when she found out she was with child, that's when I found out about him.
Okay.
I received a letter from the state. He actually was awarded a state. He was in a foster home at the time when I found out.
What?
Yes.
What happened that placed him in a foster home?
His mother for lack of a better way to say it, she abused him.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry.
And the state stepped in. But one of the things that she did was she finally mentioned my name. So they contacted me.
Wow.
And that's how I got him. But it didn't take place right away. Mm-hmm. There had to be a process, paternity, which took 2 months. And then it was another 5 months before he came to live with me. Mm. Through that process, they gave me the opportunity to get to know him. I requested that we do it on a gradual basis because I didn't think it was fair for not only him but myself to be thrusted in and we don't know anything about each other. So it was a every weekend thing, but then that wasn't working. So I requested he needs to just come. Mm-hmm. At that moment, you know, after about 4.5 months, I was like, no, he needs to come on.
And they granted it?
And they granted it. They was just happy that a black man was standing up mm-hmm. to take care of his responsibility. One of the things that really kind of shocked me is they gave me the choice whether to leave him in the system or take him.
Mercy.
And of course,
he's here with you now.
He's here with me now.
Mm-hmm. So how were you then at that time, sweetheart? How old were you?
I was about 3.
Mm-hmm. 3 years old. Were you scared? Do you remember all of that?
I remember bits and pieces, like vaguely mm-hmm. what happened here and there.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you remember being abused by your mother?
No.
You don't remember any of that? Do you see your mother today?
No.
No contact at all with her?
It's very rare. Mm-hmm. Very rare. Like I have talked to her since then, seen her a couple times, but it's very rare.
Mm-hmm. So, evidently, because every time I see you, you know, we are church members, we go to the same church, and I have a lot of time I spend with Justin at camp meeting where we have once a year at the Camp Wagner in Cassopolis, Michigan, and he's a joy to be around and with. But, you know, during this process, you know, what was going on in your life? You know, because I know you're a teacher, you have your master's degree. Mm-hmm. You know, what was going on in your life at that time?
At that time, it was I wasn't in education yet. I was a trade worker, a communications technician. But there was a lot of things going on with me as far as not knowing what my next step was. I was just drifting. When he came along, it's kind of was the handwriting on the wall, sort of say. It kind of slowed me down. It kind of made me put things in perspective. When I got out of high school, I actually went to church school all through grade school, high school, mm-hmm. and went straight to at Adventist College, mm-hmm. but did not finish. And just like the age-old story, you go, you play around, you don't get your things taken care of the right way. I came back home. Well, when he came along, that kind of put a lot of things in perspective. Now I go from 1 son to 3 in a matter of 6 months. Okay. So the Lord put in my mind, you have 3 men that you have to be an example for. And that kind of really, one, it was a scary transition. Sure. Because I'm doing this by myself. And let me say that I have a lot of respect for single mothers because I live what they live. It's not an easy task. I mean, we've gone through a lot of battles, behaviors, just the aspect of trying to teach him, you know, just the simple things. There were a lot of obstacles that contributed to the difficulties between Justin and myself. It hasn't been an easy road. It's been rather difficult financially. But through it all, you know, even though I'm not where I want to be, not having the things that I probably need or want, I get the things I need, just not the things I want. being of a spiritual background, the Lord hasn't left me hanging. So I can say that has been the highlight of bringing, raising him and the other two boys.
You never expected yourself to be in a position like that.
Well, growing up in the church, no. Too many times as young people, we tend to go through the motion because that's what we're born into. Not necessarily we develop our own relationship with the Lord. It's always an act of. But I heard something yesterday that we can't live our lives spiritually off the backs of our parents. And that was what I did not understand. And that's what I was spinning my wheels on. So when you do that, when I did that, there was a lot of things that I was becoming involved in.
Let me ask. Okay, so you got 3 sons. 3 sons. Okay, and when they all came together, where was the help? Did you do I heard you say you did it by yourself, but did your parents?
My mom stepped in, especially with him not having his mother around. My mom stepped in to provide that motherly part of the situation because I don't have it at all. I'm hardcore, especially when it comes to raising a young man. This is how we do.
That's the difference between the male and the
difference.
female.
And I admit there's not a lot of compassion in our DNA. When you do it the right way, it's balanced out. But when you're alone, it's hard to find it. And it's the same with I would imagine with a single mother. She doesn't have that mental strength that men have to balance out their children.
Justin, let me ask you a question. How is it being with your dad, and growing up in that environment and being given rules and sometimes not agreeing with those rules?
It's tough.
Okay.
It's very hard because I'm a teenager now, so.
And how old are you?
15.
Mercy.
So everything your parents, they tell you what to do, or, it's just because they tell you to do it and it's for your benefit. You don't always get it and you don't always see how it's going to benefit you. But then there's a saying, you don't see it now, but you will in the future. So it's like, man, I don't get it, but I just have to do it because that's what he says, and it's better for me. He's older than me. He's lived through it, and some things he probably has experienced through his life. So he's telling me, so he knows. So I just have to go along with it.
How you get along with your brothers?
Well, I'm closer with my older brother. When Chase was like a baby, when me and Lil Jeff were introduced, he was a baby, so. He's like, oh, he's just a baby, He's a little brother. But me and Lil Jeff, we kind of grew up a little bit closer because, we went through more. Chase was always the baby, so, he was too young to, experience some of the things that me and Lil Jeff went through. Me and my older brother went through. So we get along. We have our moments, where each other gets on the other person's nerves. But for the most part, I love my brothers.
So Chase comes over and when the weekends and things like that. Now he's Seventh-day Adventist, Chase,
yes, ma'am.
And Jeff is a Seventh-day Adventist. So do you go down and visit? Now, where does Jeff live?
He lives in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay. Do you go down and visit him?
Yes, ma'am. Like sometimes for the holidays, for alumni weekend,
things like that. All right, the reunion. So what about your chores? What kind of chores do you have?
I do everything. I cook, I clean. I can do some things on my own.
Yeah. Do you get an allowance?
No, man.
You don't get an allowance? This is trade. What is it, slave labor? No allowance? Never got an allowance? Well, I mean, you don't look like you're lacking or in need of anything, but
Just look
you know,
at him. He gets pretty much, I sacrifice pretty much to get him what he wants sometimes.
And you know, I'm glad you brought that up, you know, because it is a sacrifice. And what you're experiencing is probably something, once again, is dealing with the unexpected.
Right.
You know, but let's talk about behavior. You know, let's talk about your behavior. Being born and raised Seventh-day Adventist, right? You know, going through Christian education.
Yes.
You know, and then all of a sudden you get to a point and you have a child outside of wedlock. But you don't have just one, you have three.
Right.
You know, what were you missing? What got you to that point?
I sit and think about that a lot. There were some things in my upbringing that contributed to that. My mom did the best that she could. I had a stepfather in the home, but stepfather was always gone. He was always doing his thing. So my mom pretty much ran the household. But by her running the household, there was some things in her upbringing that she did not have. Saying I love you was very rare. A hug and a kiss was very rare. So there was a lot of searching for that acceptance. Growing up, there was a lot of low self-esteem issues. And when I got out and started receiving attention, it was the wrong attention. It was the thirst for more, but it was always the wrong attention.
What about biological father?
My biological father was not in my life. I knew him. I saw him, but there was no connection. There was no dealings with him in terms of a relationship. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do with my boys. One, because of the in-home situation, and two, because of, I always said that I would never do my children like my dad did. And that's why I'm hard on my boys. That's why I teach them to be respectful. I teach them to handle their business. And that was another reason why I decided to go back to school, because if I can't do it, I can't tell them to do it. So, you know, in the span of like 3 years, I completed my bachelor's and got my master's. So, you know, he's a 4.0 student. And the importance of that to me is, you know, I wasted a lot of time. And I don't want that for my children. Because of the relationships that I did not have caused a lot of time wasted. As long as I'm breathing, I insist that not happen to my boys. So
that's so beautiful, Jeff. You know, when I see you in church, he sticks close to you. You know, you have those boys right there.
I require that.
I see it. It's like military, that structure. I see Daddy. I see those two boys. If I see those boys, I see Daddy, you know.
One thing my mom taught us was when we're in church, it's not a time for play. And being young, you naturally do what everybody else does. And, you know, I have them around me because that's what has been taught to me. And I do recognize and I understand that that church is for the development of our relationship with Christ. That's and right. If we're playing, we're missing it.
That's it.
So they know that when we're in church, you need to be around me. No hiding, no running around, none of that. So they understand that.
They understand. Let me ask you, Justin, what is 4.0? What are your goals for your life?
Ultimately, I want to become a neurosurgeon.
Is that right? Why?
Well, I just always been, you know, I always gravitated towards the body, especially the brain. That's something that's always fascinated me since I was little.
So you're good in math, 4.0, sciences, you do your homework, you do your chores, you attend church, you know. Can you sing?
I don't do the singing.
you know, I haven't seen you in the choir. I said, where is Justin?
Yeah, singing, that's not one of my talents.
Okay, all right.
What about a girlfriend?
Ask that.
I saw Dad shake his head.
You're so handsome. You're so handsome.
You know.
So what you gonna do there? What's the story on that?
The thing is, you know, there's time for that, and now is not the time for that.
All right.
I wished my mom would have done that with me, because my focus probably would have been a little different. She allowed me to, like I said, I had to sit with them. Well, she allowed the young lady to come sit as long as I sat with them, my parents. It's too early to develop that, in my opinion. Some people may disagree with that, but he's my child. So I know his DNA, because his DNA is my DNA. And he can't do what I know that I did. You understand what I'm saying? So if I'm wrong on that, I just have to be wrong on that.
So what do you do at church when these young ladies, he's growing up, and I see the young ladies, you just nip it in the bud and tell them to go sit somewhere else?
I don't tell them anything.
What you do? They already know the word. Oh,
He tell them.
What'd you say, Jeff?
He doesn't. He's not rude.
I know. He's a very polite
child.
child. What do you say?
I mean, if something's done that's inappropriate, you just let them know, like, I don't do that.
So what about when the young ladies want to sit with you in church? You tell them, what do you tell them?
Well, they know. I don't have to say anything.
They already know the word?
They already know.
The word is out.
People just can take one look at my dad and already know.
They scared.
They scared more than I am. So they take one look at him and just...
So discipline is not a problem?
No, not at all. I mean, I do a lot of fussing, but that comes with the territory.
No. So as they say, does his bark really loud? Does Eddie get loud sometimes?
It can get there.
It can get there?
It can get there.
So you know when does Eddie have that look? Does he have a look?
He has to just look at you. If you do something, just give you the look, like. Really.
I know when I was talking about the program, wait, let me tell you what I saw. We were in the corridor of the church, the vestibule of the church, and the Lord just put this on me. I said, Jeff, I got to interview you. I got to interview you and what you've gone through. And I didn't know the three different stories, but Justin was standing behind him as Captain Lieutenant, did I say that right? Justin didn't move. Chase was to my right and leaning over me, and I'm like, and Justin didn't move. He didn't move. Did he breathe?
Well, I've taught them. I mean, and this is a funny story. I used to play basketball for the church, and I used to always have the boys with me, and I can't watch them and play at the same time, so I had them sit in the bleachers. And one of my former teachers, Miss Bertram, after it was all over, I forgot about the boys. I went to the locker room. We were upset. We lost, and I'm on my way out to the car.
No.
And I said, wait a minute, I came with two little people, and I go back. And Miss Bertram said, I told them to, come on. They was like, no, my dad says sit right here. And if he say sit right here, we gonna stay right here. So they've been conditioned when they look, whatever I say, they need to follow suit.
My goodness.
So I guess what I'm getting out of this at this point is basically nothing that you experienced in your family of origin. Especially negative situations, is going to cross over into how you raise your children.
No. I think the things and the experiences that I've had motivates me to do what I do the way that I do it. I'm very, very adamant about them making the best of their time. No opportunities wasted, and they believe in that. Especially him. He knows the hard work that I've put into him to teach him, he's owned it for himself. And he does above and beyond with his schoolwork. I still have to, you know, tighten him up around the house, but he's still, for the most part, he's a good kid.
Chase, the youngest one. Did you ever consider that you were going to have a relationship that would have led to marriage or anything?
I did, but under the circumstances, it didn't work out because of everything that I was going through. Okay. And even with him, that is why I go above and beyond with him. Every chance, every free moment, he's with me. And he follows suits just like Justin. He's a 4.0 student too, as well.
I like the way Justin is dressed, you know, Sabbath, you know, the bow tie, the jacket, you know, how you keep them dressed and appropriate for church. We've gotten kind of laxed and our children can come anyway. I don't, you know, Brother Nolan and I and Aaron. But at the same time, not only outwardly but inward, I see excellent parenting skills. And that's why we wanted you to come on Making It Work. You are single, you are focused, and you are directing these children and the way they should go in the way of the Lord. And now you are totally connected with the Lord. Let's talk about that in the last, we got about a minute and a half. Your relationship spiritually in the home.
We are striving every day. My prayer daily is to develop a stronger sense of spirituality so that they can see the face of Jesus in me. It's a struggle sometimes, you know, because of circumstances. You know, I'm human just like everybody else, and I do sometimes get weighted down. But I was born and raised in the church, and a lot of the philosophies and the doctrines I do believe in. So this is why I haven't turned my back totally on what I've learned. Train up a child in the way it should go. And my mom has really instilled that in me, regardless of what was going on. So I try to do that with them. We're not always there, but we're still striving.
Do you feel Daddy is a good parent?
I do.
Why?
I do.
Why?
Because my dad, he knows me. He knows what I'm capable of doing, and he wants nothing but the best for me.
You love your father?
I do, with all my heart.
Oh, so you're glad that the Lord sent him to come get you out of that foster home?
I'm grateful.
Amen.
I'm very grateful.
Well, Arthur, single, focused, and directed, single fathers. I want to say to all the single fathers today, hold on, be strong, and continue to stay focused and directed. I'm Dr. Kim Logan-Nowlin.
I'm Arthur Nowlin.
And I want to thank this wonderful family for being with us.
Yes.
Continue to making it work. God bless.
God bless.